Why are most libertarians men? Or do you know women who are libertarians? And we were talking about this in our morning conference call to put together the radio show this morning, and Sean and Louise and Danielle, as I recall, all said they didn't know any women libertarians. I don't know any women libertarians, although I think I had one on the TV show once a while ago. But there's an interesting blog over at Mother Jones. This was a week or so ago by Kevin Drum, in which, in fact, it was a couple of weeks ago. It was in June, and he asked the question, why are most libertarians men? And he says, now keep in mind when we say libertarians. Let me just go back to the 1980 Libertarian platform. This is, there's a lot of people who say, oh, yeah, Gary Johnson, he's the Libertarian, Johnson and Weld, I'm going to vote for them because they're anti-establishment and they're cool guys and, and I don't like Trump and I don't like Hillary or something, so I'm going to vote for them. That's a pretty uninformed position, I would submit to you. Just consider this. This is from Bernie's website, actually, sanders.senate.gov/Koch-brothers. And it's the 1980 Libertarian Party platform. And David Koch ran for vice president in 1980 on the Libertarian ticket, just like William Weld is running for vice president this year, along with Gary Johnson. Here's their platform. We urge the repeal of federal campaign finance laws and an immediate abolition of the despotic Federal Election Commission. In other words, billionaires should be able to buy anything they want with regard to elections. We favor the abolition of Medicare and Medicaid programs. Abolition. We oppose any compulsory insurance or tax-supported plan to provide health services, including those which finance abortion services. That's sort of a sop to the hard right, but basically any kind of national health care program, whether it's Obamacare, whether it's single payer, whether it's the Children's Health Insurance Program, no matter what it is, we oppose it. We also favor the deregulation of the medical insurance industry. In other words, let those banksters just rip everybody off all they want. We favor the repeal of the fraudulent, virtually bankrupt, and increasingly oppressive Social Security system. They want to do away with Social Security. This is the Libertarian Party platform. If you're thinking of voting Libertarian, this is what you're voting for in Gary Johnson and William Weld. We propose the abolition of the governmental post office. We oppose all personal and corporate income taxation, including capital gains taxes. We support the eventual repeal of all taxation. As an interim measure, all criminal and civil sanctions against tax evasion should be terminated immediately. Now, the Republicans have been fairly effective at actually doing some of this stuff. I mean, they've defunded the IRS to the point that the ability of the IRS to catch tax cheats has radically diminished. We support repeal of all laws which impede the ability of any person to find employment, such as minimum wage laws. In other words, repeal the minimum wage. Don't raise it. Do away with it altogether. We advocate the complete separation of education and state. Government schools lead to the indoctrination of children and interfere with the free choice of individuals. Government ownership, operation, regulation, and subsidy of schools and colleges should be ended. In other words, if you're born rich, you get educated. If you're born poor, tough luck. We condemn compulsory education laws and call for the immediate repeal of all such laws. We support the repeal of all taxes on the income of or property of private schools, whether profit or nonprofit. So for-profit schools should have tax-exempt status with regard to property taxes, even though they're for-profit. We support the abolition of the Environmental Protection Agency. Kiss your clean air and water goodbye. We support abolition of the Department of Energy. We call for the dissolution of all government agencies concerned with transportation, including the Department of Transportation. Yeah, we don't need no stinking FAA. We demand the return to America's railroad system to private ownership. We call for the, now get this, let's have every billionaire own their own freeway, right? Let's take all the freeways in America and put toll booths on them and sell them off to the various billionaires and just have them charge. This is the platform that David Koch ran for as president in 1980, as vice president in 1980. We demand the return of America. I called it. We call for the privatization of the public roads and the national highway system. Privatize it. The road in front of your street should be owned by the richest guy on the block who happened to buy it. And if you want to drive on that road, there's a little toll gate there. You can drop your dollar into it or put your credit card in it and you know, help that guy out. The richest guy, of course. We specifically oppose laws requiring an individual to buy or sell so-called self-protection equipment such as safety belts, airbags, or crash helmets. I mean, this is getting crazy, right? I mean, these are things that prevent all the rest of us from having to pay for the injuries and the loss of productivity of people who aren't wearing seatbelts or don't have airbags. We advocate the abolition of the Federal Aviation Administration. Pilots, passengers, good luck, you're on your own. We advocate the abolition of the Food and Drug Administration. Oh, you think that drug actually is what it says? It might be, it might not be. It might have come from India, it might have come from somebody's backyard, who knows? We support an end to all subsidies for childbearing built into our present laws. We oppose all government welfare relief projects and aid to poor programs. We call for privatization of the inland waterways. Yeah, all our rivers, they should be handed over to the billionaires too. Let's privatize our rivers, turn them into toll roads. We call for the repeal of the Occupational Health and Safety Act. We call for the abolition of the Consumer Product Safety Commission. We support the repeal of all usury laws, state usury laws. That is, laws against, charging obscene amounts of interest, ripping you off. So that's the libertarian platform. So why are most libertarians men? Craig, what's his name here? Kevin Drum asks. And he says, here's the quick answer. Hardcore libertarianism is a fantasy. It's a fantasy where the strongest and most self-reliant folk end up on the top of the heap. And a fair number of the men who share that fantasy think that they are those folks. They believe they've been held back by rules and regulations designed to help the weak. And in a libertarian culture, their talents would be obvious and they'd naturally rise to positions of power and influence. Most of them are wrong, of course. In a truly libertarian culture, nearly all of them would be squashed like ants, mostly by the same people who are squashing them now, but the fantasy lives on regardless. He goes on to add, few women share this fantasy. I don't know why, and I really don't want to play amateur sociologist and guess. Perhaps it's something as simple as the plain observation that in the more libertarian past, women were subjugated to men almost completely. Why would that seem like an appealing fantasy? So I'm curious, if you are a woman who's a libertarian, I'd love to hear from you. Or, why do you think that most libertarians are men? And, delusional as well. We'll be back.
To watch more clips from our programs, hit the Watch More Videos button over here. And please be sure to hit the handy-dandy subscribe button so you'll always be up to date. Tag, you're it.